He wrote Monadology at the age of 70, just before he died. In Monadology, he tried to give a summary of his philosophical system. Monadology, a book written at 70 about his philosophical system. So here's an interesting thing. What's this? I feel like when I heard monad, I was like, oh, monads. But I want to learn more about it. The monadology. It's a short text, 90. Okay, so yeah, it is about monads, which is a monad is a, whoa, cosmic philosophy and cosmogony to refer to the most basic or original substance. The monad is the supreme being. Okay, so monad is a simple substance and the Pythagoreans see it as this. The Pythagoreans saw it as the supreme being. Supreme Bing. SupremeBing.com. To learn more about the Pythagoreans. So my strategy when it comes to deep diving is that because I don't know what these topics are going to actually be by the time I publish them, my main thought process is to spend time kind of just going down about 2 or 3 levels deep. And then once I reach a level that's too deep and too far away from the actual thing that is going to be published, stepping back out and moving back towards the plan. So I don't know what the end video is going to be. I'm just kind of excited. I think that that's one of the great parts about choosing topics and then just going wild is that this might literally end up being a thing about monadology written by Leibniz. You know what I mean? Like the videos could do anything. During his last stay in Vienna, Leibniz wrote 2 short texts which were meant as concise expositions of his philosophy. After his death, blah, blah, blah. The German translation, okay, so metaphysics. Let's see this summary. The rhetorical strategy adopted by Leibniz in the Monadology is fairly obvious as the text begins with a description of monads, proceeding from simple to complicated instances. Then it turns to their principle or creator, and finishes by using both to explain the world. As far as Leibniz allows just one type of element in the building, in his system is monistic. The element is given the general name monad or entelechy and described as a simple substance. When monads are simple, he means that which is one, has no parts, and is therefore indivisible. Okay. Relying on the Greek etymology of the word entelechy, Leibniz posits quantitative differences in perfection between monads which lead to a hierarchical ordering. The basic order is 3-tiered. Entelechyes or created monads, souls are entelechyes with perception and memory, and spirits are rational souls. Whatever is said about the lower ones is valid for the higher ones, but not versa. As none of them go without a body, there is a corresponding hierarchy of living beings and animals, the latter being either non-reasonable or reasonable. The degree of perfection in each case corresponds to cognitive abilities, and only spirits or reasonable animals are able to grasp both the world and its creator. Some monads have power over others because they can perceive with greater clarity, but primarily one monad is said to dominate another if it contains the reasons of the actions of the others. Okay, so if a monad subsumes another monad, it is said to dominate. Some monads have power over others because they can perceive with greater clarity, but one monad is said to dominate another if it contains the reasons when it contains the reasons. So I guess what he's saying is that everything has a spirit, and those spirits are the monad, and then the monads that are built on top of that spirit. I guess I don't know. God is said to be a simple substance, but the only one necessary and without a body attached. Monads perceive others with varying degrees of clarity, except for God, who perceives all other monads with utter clarity. God could take any and all perspectives, knowing the potentiality and actuality, as well as that God, in all of his power, would know the universe from each of the infinite perspectives at the same time, and so his perspectives simply are monads. Creation is a permanent state, thus, monads are generated by continual fulgurations of the divinity. What? Okay, countable or uncountable. Cauterization with electricity. Okay, a flash of lightning. Okay. Fulgurations. Flash of lightning. Creation is a permanent state. Thus, monads are generated by lightning flashes of the creator. Tab. Both all of these are under monadology, yeah. And then I'm going to move that. Any perfection comes from the being which is created, while imperfection is a limitation of nature. The monads are unaffected by each other, but each have a unique way of expressing themselves in the universe according to God's infinite will. That was chapter 2. Composite substances or matter are actually subdivided without end and have the properties of infinitesimal parts. Okay, I think I'm good here. Let's read the first thing of this. Leibniz uses theories of monads to argue that we lived in the best possible worlds. His basis of perception, but not interaction among monads, explain that all monads must draw their essence from one ultimate monad. He then claims that this ultimate monad would be God, because a monad is a simple substance and the God is the simplest of all substances. He cannot be broken down any further. This means that all monads perceive with varying degrees of perception, except God, who, this was kind of already said in one. The superior perception of God would apply much the same way that he says a dominant monad controls our souls, and all other monads associated would essentially shade themselves toward him, with all monads being created by the ultimate monad and shading themselves in the image of the ultimate monad. Leibniz argues that it would be impossible to conceive of a more perfect world because things are created by the most best possible monad, the most simple monad. Word king. Okay, that's a summary of his philosophical system. This is the summary of it, that he everything is a monad, which he saws as a simple substance, and monads can be generated from simpler monads. So it's kind of like a recursive monad tree. So like I guess that like if I had to draw it out, um okay, so this is like God monad, and then every once in a while God monad has like a fulguration that creates another monad, which is like uh Earth. No, it's like a space, and then it's um oh hell yeah, Earth, and then Earth spawns people, people like Timothy Chalamet, for example. So if I guess I understand where he's coming from with monadology, is that simpler monads are created, generated by lightning flashes, these fulgurations. So wait, so the simplest monad is the most powerful, which is like the God monad. But if the God monad, um, the monad is the supreme being. Isn't this the thing for Urbit? Isn't this Urbit's logo? No, it's not. I thought it was. It's this thing. Close though. Definitely close. Um, okay, so the monad, a most basic or original substance, the Pythagoreans is the supreme being of the totality of all things, which is interesting because like I thought Pythagoreans were Greek, and weren't Greeks a polytheistic culture? Interesting. Um, okay, so no, no. Okay. But wouldn't that make the bodies built up from the monad? Are you no longer a monad when you are built from that? Anyway, next point. Um okay.